What's going on, my truckers? Welcome to Trucking News. Emails at muthatruckernews@gmail.com. Want to talk about some public announcements, of course, from the FMCSA and how that affects truck drivers coming up soon. And I'm going to put things in order because there's some things out there that are scaring drivers a lot, especially with this new Aurora that just did their first complete self-driving trip. So I definitely want to talk about that. But let's get into what FMCSA is saying right here. Okay, so we know that there was this update about two medical examiners in Houston that the FMCSA flagged, stating that they just did too many of these medical exams, physicals on truck drivers. So, they are voiding it from over 15,000 truck drivers. And it states here, attention CMV drivers, if you received a DOT physical exam in Houston, Texas area between March 2023 and March 2025, your certificate may be void, requiring a new exam by May 10th. If you got your medical exam from Dr. Jenny Lee or Dr. Dustin Mai between March 2023 and March 2025, it will be voided and your CDL can get downgraded after May 10th. So share this with all the drivers that happen to get their DOT physical from these two examiners. Now, I'm not saying that these are bad people. I'm just stating that the FMCSA is voiding these medical examiner certificates. That's 15,000 CDLs, okay? So you think that would be a big hit, but that's still a drop in the bucket. Remember in the beginning of the year when I talked about the 179,000 truck drivers that were at risk of getting their CDL downgraded because of drug or alcohol violations? Well, the truth is a lot of those drivers honestly stopped driving a long time ago. They were getting downgraded already and they were not going through the process of getting their CDL back. They weren't going through the return to duty RTD process. So that didn't have the effect that people thought it would have in the trucking industry. But the biggest one that I'm going to tell you that will have an effect is this English proficiency. Because, when the president of the United States signs this EO, this executive order that says that this is all beginning June 14th, and they're putting programs in place to put out drivers that are not English proficient. How many drivers does this actually affect? Because these drivers are on this road now, and this new executive order and law is basically going to put them out of service when they didn't want to be. Okay, so when I looked up the information, there's an article from FreightWaves that says here, insurance experts specializing in the truck sector have estimated that 10% of the total driver population lacks proficiency in English. With over 3 million interstate CDL drivers in the country, we're looking at around 300,000 drivers that could be put out of service. So tell me, do you think that's a good thing or not? Rates have been in the crap. And if a true 300,000 drivers are not allowed on the road, does that mean that truck drivers will make more money because there will be a supply and demand problem? I'm doing an interview with the driver that says that his group of ethnicity is really scared of what's to come. And so when I get that interview, we'll share it because I think it'll be a great point of view for all drivers out there. When it comes to English proficiency, I don't care if you have broken English or not. It's not about that. It's just about reading the signs and public safety, right? But just want to share that. The other part that is scaring a lot of truck drivers that I do want to talk about a little bit, and it kind of sucks, right? Because everyone's heard of Aurora and how they just been driving up and down from like Dallas to Houston, but there's been a truck driver in the truck. Well, recently they had their first Aurora semi-truck where the CEO is in the cab, in the bunk, and it's driving itself. And people are scared that this is going to take away truck drivers' jobs. And I'm here to tell you, it's not going to happen in our lifetime that it's going to fully take away our jobs. I just don't see it. We don't have the infrastructure for it. And America is just not ready for that liability. Now, how the heck did something like this even happen, right? How did something like this even break wind? And so I want to share this with you. And the reason why, especially in Texas, is because Governor Greg Abbott truly wants to bring more business into his state.
Earlier, and that is Texas really is becoming the leading innovation state in the United States. And candidly, we can just go through stories, Morgan, that you yourself have reported on. There is, of course, SpaceX that you mentioned. There's Blue Origin, where you were in the state of Texas for that. There's the Gigafactory. Another thing you reported on is Army Futures Command, where the future of the United States Army is being built out here in downtown Austin, where their focus is on artificial intelligence and robotics, but now also autonomous vehicles. And there's the Alliance Texas Mobility Innovation Zone, where GATIC is operating out of. There's a 75 square mile location between Dallas and Fort Worth that has a large sector of autonomous vehicles that are already operating business to business in deliveries, whether it be short haul or long haul, operating from there. And by the way, for your viewers, this where this autonomous zone is located is also the headquarters of Charles Schwab.
And by doing that, he wants to work with the biggest players out there. And so when you really look back to who's been investing in self-driving vehicles in general, it's been the rideshare world, right? So Waymo, which is actually Google, has partnered with Uber to provide self-driving rides in Austin. And Tesla, they have theirs in Austin as well. And so when you look back at this, there's extremely big players here that they're not trying to win off of the trucking industry. They're trying to win off of the rideshare industry. And because of that, Governor Greg Abbott had a bill that he passed back in 2017 that basically stated they didn't want, let me read it to you right here. Texas passed Senate Bill 2205 in 2017, which allows autonomous vehicles to operate in the state and provided they comply with federal laws and regulations, are registered in Texas, and have data recording systems. This law also bars cities from enacting their own regulations regarding autonomous vehicles. So now cities can't even make up their own rules. And the reason why he did that is because he wants Google, he wants Uber, he wants Tesla, he wants GM, he wants FedEx, he wants UPS, he wants all these companies to be involved. And when you look at this, I'm not here to start a war with any carrier, but when you look at Aurora, American Trucking Association, they back them up. I've seen that. Uber Freight, Hirschbach Motor Lines, FedEx, Schneider, Warner, and PACCAR. Right. And so there's big companies out here that are backing this up, and George Abbott wants their business. He believes it's going to create more jobs. So because they want to do this in the rideshare world for cabs, it's affecting our business, and it's allowing Aurora and Kodiak Robotics to just, I don't want to say sneak through the cracks, but that's what's doing. And so, it's the same thing that happened with the AB5 law. If you remember about contractors or company drivers, and all that was about Uber first. And at the end of the day, Uber was like, hey, even though we're contractors, we're working like we're employees. And this AB5 law comes out. And at the end, what does it do? Uber rideshare people are not even on it, and they only pass it on the truck drivers. And so it messes up the drivers that like to run their own business on 1099. So regardless of how you feel about that, I'm telling you, when you look at the backbone of this, it's the Uber and the rideshare world that created this. And now it's just started this new path for companies like Aurora to come out and do their thing. Now, do I see that this is going to be something that's going to take over truckers' jobs? No. I just don't see it, but Mud Truckers, comment down below. Just want to give you guys some updates today and let you know the temperature of the room of where we're at and how things kind of come to play. But yeah, this English proficiency definitely going to take out a lot of drivers, they believe, if they enforce everything. And of course, with the drivers that got their medical DOT out in the Houston area, go to another examiner. I don't want you to get downgraded. Mud Truckers, comment down below. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Just want to share today's information.